G'day and welcome to another episode. My name is Daethstro, the Aussie Geek, and today we'll be looking at the Fanstoys Aussie, aka Outback. And this is technically the second time I've filmed this, because if you're watching this video right now, I've made a recent discovery. Pretty much all my YouTube features are now unlocked. Now, apparently this was something that happened about 3 months ago, and as usually when it comes to things in news and whatnot, I'm the last of the party. So, if this is over 15 minutes long, it has a custom thumbnail, then looks like I'm able to post longer videos and I won't have to rush the last 5 seconds. So, we'll start off and things will be a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more relaxed, maybe a little bit longer. We'll see how we go. But here is Outback, aka Aussie for Fanstoys. Lovely figure. He does have one issue, which we'll get to in a second. But let's get down to accessories, since now I can actually spend a little time for that. For starters, we do have a card with him there. His eyes are a little bit more blue, if you can see that, but of course that's not how it looks in the figure. And here's the back of it. He of course has his instructions. These are things I keep forgetting, and I was going to do this with Mind Wipe, and as far as I know, I probably could have done this with Mind Wipe, but I'm not redoing that video again. Outrider, which I think might have been actually his original name. So there's those. He does come with an extra face, which was the original face that actually came on the figure. I switched it out for his nice smiling mug. By the way, I was going to do the whole over-the-top Aussie accent, but I decided against it. I felt stupid after doing Mind Wipe, so I thought, you know what, skip that. He also does come with this, which is Megatron's fusion cannon. And it is nice. It does require batteries. It doesn't come with batteries. It's in the book exactly which ones you need. And it comes with this piece. And basically, this is remnant of, I want to say season 1. One of the season 1 episodes with Brawn, where somehow Brawn got Megatron's gun, fusion cannon, took a shot, hit Megatron. And I did remember him saying, now that was a kick. But I can't remember which episode which one it was. Now, originally I was going to complain about it because I thought, well, this piece can't come off. That basically holds his hand. I haven't tried it yet. We'll see how we go. But you can wiggle that off, and that leaves you with the cannon in general. You can extend the barrel, like so. He does have a light up feature. I won't point at the camera because I did it to myself and I saw blue for a bit. So you have this sort of nice purple light. So, just as a comparison, there is MP36's original fusion cannon, which you can see is just massive by comparison. I was going to put the batteries in this until I remembered that just has sound effects. It has no light effects. So, there you go. It does fit on MP36. It just looks really weird, in my opinion. So there we go. So you can arm up MP36 with Fanstoys gun, but it just looks real tiny by comparison. That does absolutely nothing. That's just sort of sits there. So it's just that. So there we go. So we can do a few size comparisons before we get down to the transformation. Here we have MP10, and here we have Fanstoys Hunk, their Brawn. So we'll keep Brawn around for a couple more seconds, because we can do a few comparisons here. Now, obviously this guy is remodeled after Brawn, but he does have a few changes which are, you know, for the good or the bad. So for starters, they remodeled his lower legs. These are a lot thicker than these. The ankle tilt is still in the same place, but you now have additional tilt with the foot, whereas literally this is all of Braun's foot. One of the big issues for articulation is, as you can see, Braun has this nice slender thigh, and for Outback you have this huge chunk here, and I'll go into a little bit more detail in a minute. The arms are slightly different shape and whatnot, and we have these pieces. But because of the height of where these sit, that backpack gets in the way for articulation. So if I use Braun here, you can tilt his leg back and forwards, pretty well. And then we put Braun side to side, and now he's fallen over because I moved his leg. Sorry. With Outback, yes, I'll get to that in a minute. You can lift this up, but the leg doesn't get. Anyway, to get the leg articulation, you literally have to pop the transformation joint. You don't have to go all the way down. You can just leave it out a little bit if you want to start getting that leg motion, because the backpack gets in the way, and because of how this is locked into place, you push it up and in, it literally locks his hip from moving. It's not going to go anywhere. Now, this is the problem with mine, and it's, I haven't heard that it's wide, that it's, I can't think of the word, but, everyone has it. But I have a loose right leg. I have tried tightening the screw, but it hasn't worked, and I haven't decided yet whether I even want to attempt to use nail polish, or where even I'd put the nail polish to try and tighten that leg. So even looking at it, I can't see it. It's literally here, so I'm not quite sure. But yeah, so he does have that issue with articulation. Everything else is like Braun's, except of course the head, which we can get to in a moment. So we'll put Braun aside. We don't need Braun now. He can go there. We do have some other comparisons, but we'll get to that in a minute. So let's get down to, since I can actually do it now, articulation. So I'll just take his gun out of his hand, and it slides, sort of pegs and slides into his hand, so it comes down into sort of this groove, which I really like. That can't really extend or anything. That twists, and I think that's just more for the way it is, but it is what it is. So, as for articulation, his face can turn a little bit. You can turn the head, but the backpack gets in the way. So you're literally going to have to untab this really to get him to turn his head. So if you really want severe turnage, you're going to have to start pegging things. To get the face off, you can rotate the winch there, and you just pull the face off. Just get your nail in there, pull it off, and it'll come right off. So arms can do a full 360. They go, technically not using the transformation joint, it goes out that far. If you use the joint that's part of the transformation that doesn't actually hold, you can get that far. You can probably get further if you articulate this. Also, smallest Autobot sticker I've ever put on, and yeah, it doesn't come included. He has a real high bicep swivel. He has a single jointed elbow that gets you that far. He does have wrist swivel. He has typewriter fingers with a solid thumb, so he can, form a fist, but that's about it. But I just like doing it that way, just so, come on. So there we go. He does have waist swivel, which is hindered from the backpack. If you get that out of the way, you get all the way, but then you have all that hanging on the back. So, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I'll try to get that tab back in again. We've already seen how the hips work in that, but it doesn't move at all unless you use that transformation joint. Then his leg can get up that far, probably more if I can get his, there you go. You can go that far forward and that far back. He has single jointed knee. He has thigh swivel, which is mid thigh. He does have ankle tilt, which isn't very far, although I think I have I? Yeah, I chipped a little bit of paint there in the original video I made of this. His toe can tilt that all the way around technically for transformation, but I suppose that far if you really wanted it to. It doesn't go up, doesn't go down, and that tab's coming out. So that is your articulation. So use what you will for your hips. You know, he will end up taller, but at least you can get his hips situated. Alright, so let's get down to transformation. He is very reminiscent of Brawn. There are a little bit of changes, but not by much. Alright, so first things first, we can get that all untabbed again, just to get all that out of the way. We're then going to push the arms back for two reasons. One, because it helps, it's part of the transformation, and two, it helps with this next step. So if we rotate the winch around, so we have access to the head, and then we rotate around the actual neck itself. Now, I did that last time and was almost sure I was chipping paint, because if this is up too high, it's going to scrape. Alright, so we're just going to get all this stuff out, and I'll point this out if I can get it out first. Just keep trying to get a nail in there. Trying to get in. Come on. Just got to get the front out. I had no trouble with this last time. Come on, there we go. So when you're transforming the canopy, when you put the grill in, you want the underside and the back to form this sort of groove here. So the front of this is going to go inside here. So when it closes up, it's going to fold around so that this tab can go into here. So if you're wondering why that's not, because I know a few times I was doing it so that seems to be fine there. But if you try to fold that up, it doesn't get far enough. So yeah, just, let me get it out again. When you fold that up, make sure that goes into there when you fold that up. So, but I'm getting past myself. All right, so get all that out just so we have all this where we want it. Scoot that all around, get that out, fold that around to where we need it. All right, so then we're going to go with these arms. What we're going to do is we're going to, we'll close this fist because we really don't need it. So this is going to fold back, and where are we? No. Fold this back. This is one of the only big issues with that. Rotate the forearm. So this port is sticking this way. You can rotate this, I suppose, all the way in. I want to say the other side sort of fights me. So maybe probably don't put it that far. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Rotate that, sort of slide that around, which as you can see, that one is actually sitting more snug. So then these can tab together. And we'll eventually have to articulate these arms anyway. So things are going to get in the way and we'll have to readjust things anyway. So we'll get down to the legs, and this time we don't have to hopefully be worrying about, you know, rushing, because I'm already at 14 minutes and I'm still going. So yeah, wish me luck. So we're going to pull these out like so. And we're going to rotate at the hip. So this is facing this way. We then want to flip over the foot, untab that, and on the inside of the leg, there is this tab here that can flip out. So that gives us all this access. Then you can just fold this bit back in because it's just going to sit flat on the other side. So we can split the leg there. So this is going to come all the way around. And what we can do then is we want to sort of slide this against the pelvis. You may have to slide back a little bit, like you're folding up for the actual robot transformation. But you basically want that. Oh, we'll flip this foot around as well. So you're going to end up with that. None of this is really going to tab in just yet, so just be aware of that. All right, so pull this out, fold that over, flip the foot, and rotate the toe. We come on to the inside, unflip that, flip that out, and flip that back in. That one's a little bit more sturdy. And then we can rotate the hip so we have it the right way around. Fold this back, and we want to keep all this out and just split that in half like so. All right, so those will just sort of sit underneath the hands. Like I said, nothing's going to overly tab in yet. So then we're going to rotate this around, and we'll get the rest of this out of the way first. So we're going to flip this out like so, and we're going to flip these back, and that's going to tab into the back here. Like so, tab in. Hopefully everything will be where it is. Now, this is one of the awkward bits because you have to accordion this into here, and you have to get this brown piece. I don't know if you can see it. So this is going to accordion to here, and this brown piece is going to go on the side. Excuse me. You want it so this is flush with this. You can get the legs out of the way. The legs being there aren't important just yet. So you can move them out of the way for this. So you're going to accordion in. Come on. So it folds in on itself, and you want it so this sits flat with the front. There's also pegs in here that are going to go into these notches here. Like I said, you may have to move the arms. The arms may be too high. So we'll see how we go. So get that in there. Things aren't too lined up. There we go. And we'll just try to straighten up the bonnet. There we go. That tabbed in there. And what we can do is you can then just sort of push these arms up just on top of the canopy. So that way they're out of the way. And I'm just untabbed those. All right, so then we can deal with the feet. So we're going to do the front first, and then we're going to go to the back. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold this out. This piece is going to go under the hood, and then this piece here will sort of clip onto here, like so, or actually clip behind it. Not really clip on. Yeah, it's more the grill than the actual piece. Anyway, so that goes into there, clips into there, and to lock it in place, you're going to fold this piece up to lock that into place. And of course we do the other side, flip under, tab in, and flip up, and for the most part we are done with the front. Now for the back, we're going to fold this under, which is just going to untab that anyway, and providing we have that solid, there's a port here and a tab under here, so that goes under and in. Go the other side. You may have to squeeze things together. Come on, get in there. Where are you? It's probably because I haven't got things squished enough. There we go. And then sort of give things a press. And this is going to fold under now. Unlike Braun's, you could put his gun here or here and use as a muffler. For this, you're going to take these ports and put them on these tabs, which is going to close up the underneath. You may have to squeeze things, and then afterward just give everything a push to make it nice and solid. So there we go. Now of course you should have an auto symbol back here. I'm not doing that. I'm preferring the way he is, and he is nice and rolly. So he is nice. He is very good. You know, I don't see these type of sort of four-wheel drives here at home. That seems like more something that you'd have in Africa, but that's just me. I see a lot more Toyotas and Pajeros and whatnot. Maybe a few Utes, but yeah, not so much them. As for weapon storage, you can fold this down and plug that into the top. And of course, it can turn like a turret, although it sort of just pops out. So there we go. So here's all armed up for shooting some dingoes and great whites. Why you'd shoot a great white, I have no idea. But for the first size comparison, we could bring in Power of the Primes Outback, because the original video I said Titans Return until I corrected myself. And there he is with G1 Outback. And he is a very decent representation of an upgrade from the toy to the masterpiece. Of course, these aren't like this, and that's what I mean. The what about symbol's meant to be back there, but in the case of this guy, as we saw in the last video, yes, big shock. I did a Brawn Outback video, and and I made a masterpiece video afterwards. Fancy that. So there it is there. But there we go. So there is the 3 versions of Outback that I have. And of course, we have our standard size comparison. Here he is with Windblade. And he's a little bit shorter than Windblade, a little bit taller, but he's solid. I reckon I could throw that and it would definitely come back. Now, speaking of things coming back, it didn't occur to me till before making the original video that this guy's missing something. I can't remember which episodes it was. Definitely season 3, because he came out in season 3. He had a discus type object. I think he used it a couple of times. But it's nowhere to be seen. So I can only assume that going by X-Transbot's logic, especially compared with their Perceptor and Fanstoys Tesla and all that, the chances are if they ever make a Outback, he'll probably have the discus and God knows what other accessories. Will I get him? Most likely not. But interesting thing to look at in the future. So there we go. But I do like this figure, and it's got, and I'll admit, it's nice to have a homegrown Transformer and whatnot. But this guy's kind of pretty well. I'm pretty happy with him. He does tend to stand with Blaster. I don't have Steel Jaw or any of that. It's just what was it? An Eject? Rewind, I think. Rewind and Blaster, the KFC version, and of course, Smiling Outback standing next to him. 2 mates ready to go down the pub. So I do like this guy very much. But so hopefully this has gone through, and you will hopefully have enjoyed a little bit longer video without me having to go, oh crap, I got 5 million, so if I got 5 seconds, I got to finish this video with a quick ending. But so there. But if you did like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. I promise you, it will not hurt my feelings. Subscribe, ring that bell, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of Outback / Aussie, Fanstoys Aussie. Is he somebody you'd be looking for? Is he somebody you'd have for your collection? Or are you still perfectly happy with your G1 re-release, or even G1 original, or your Power of the Primes Outback? But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.